We're recording. Welcome to Default Tangent. It's me, Leon C, and my pal Chris C. Um, totally fucked that up as well last week. It wasn't 1 for 1. I wasn't 1 for 4 either. I was like 2 for 3, and that's probably wrong as well.
Also, my name isn't Chris C.
Chris P. I said Chris. I did say Chris P.
It definitely sounded like C.
Oh well, we'll have to go back and check the tape. Okay, so Leon C, Chris P, ready to roll again for episode 6, and not a great deal to talk about this week because we have been so focused on one thing, invested heavily on one thing. Before I get to that one thing, just going to check and see if there is any housekeeping. I don't think there's any housekeeping that I can think of from last week. Nothing came to mind.
My house, there's loads of housekeeping he's doing.
Metaphorical housekeeping. Metaphorical housekeeping, I don't think there is much. Things we spoke about last week, I watched everything back through and I couldn't find any fault. So I think we were 100% correct on everything we spoke about, more than likely.
Definitely find that hard to believe, but okay.
I think it's probably because I was so unbelievably focused on editing because I had so many interruptions now.
And a few issues to deal with.
I had a few issues. That ended up taking me just fucking ages. But this week as well, because me and Chris are both eager to get on with a few other things, as we are quite busy in the real world, I will probably not be editing this episode. So we're effectively live. So we're live now. So
to be fair, we've only actually edited 2 of the other 4 videos. I suppose that's 50%. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, we've done 5 episodes so far up to this, and I've edited 2 of the 5. So
2 of them have been edited, 2 haven't. That's a 50-50.
Yeah, but then there was one, then there was what, we've got 5 episodes that are down. So it cannot be 2 and 2. There's one outstanding episode, which will be either edited or not. Yeah.
There'll be 2 and 3.
Yeah. So
we're edited, 3 not edited.
It's 40%, so it's the same. 50-40, potato. But the main thing that has been on me and Chris P, our minds, has been something that I spoke about last week. And do you know what? I think if it's possible, I love it even more now than I did even just 7 days ago. And it's Monster Hunter Worlds. Monster Hunter Worlds on the Xbox One. Chris, he heard me out. He thought, we'll have another look. Well, I won't speak for him. Chris, tell us, what happened following the podcast last week?
Well, having already played it, I was very I thought it was a bit crap. It's your typical Capcom. Oh my god, I'm a genius.
That hurts.
Trigger warning for Leon. The usual Capcom stuff, where there's just loads of menus, and it's very hard to describe. When you're in the camp, you're very immobile. Your walking's very stiff, and it didn't. So yeah, I played it. I did 1 mission. I killed some Jagras, and then I installed it. And this was like 4 months ago.
And was that the little Jagras? The little Jagras?
No, yeah, the little Jagras. The Jagras.
Jagrases or Jagrai? I reckon it's Jagrai.
Jagrai sounds a bit more bad.
It might even just be Jagras plural as well.
I know Jagras. I like Jagrai. Sounds cool.
Go get all the Jagrai.
They're also fun to kill.
And they are. And they're also fun to ride.
Not got that far yet. That's one of the more interesting things awaiting me. So yeah, I played it once, gave it a chance, thought it was a bit rubbish. And then you went on your little... Well, you've been playing this game solid for about 3 weeks now, so you've not played Star Wars or anything else with me. So I kind of had no choice, really. You wouldn't shut up about it, and it was all you were playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I gave it a bit more of a go, and it turns out it's a really good game. It's very basic, but I think that's... I say basic after playing about a confusing menu system, but the actual game itself has like the world's most basic story. Ooh, go find this new area, planet. What is it? Is it a land? A new land?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I said, Monster Hunter Worlds is my first Monster Hunter game that I've played proper. But with regards to the world, it's not our world.
You think?
Wow. I mean, like, it's not an interpretation of our world. It's like, there could be, in these kind of games, you never know, like, if it suddenly hits it that this is set in the future or in the past. But
Or like the apes film when you got Statue of Liberty at the end. Just go wander around and find Big Ben poking out of the rotten
exactly
barrel.
that classic twist where it's like, oh, actually, hang on a minute, this is like post apocalyptic.
I
But
mean,
it's not that. It is its own
the
world,
universe.
and that's hinted at by one of the things I really like. I mean, because I think I started kind of covering the basics last week. So anybody who saw me talk about last week already knows the premise of the game. In short, it is hunting monsters in this land. And in this land, in this game's universe, they have found a whole new island, which is referred to as the New World, a new country, if you will, which has never been touched by humanity in that they know of. I mean, everyone that's based at this new world have been there for that base has been there for about 40 or 50 in-game years.
Yeah.
So, because like they have ancestors, like my grandfather found this thing over in this part of the land. But we play as the fifth fleet, which is the fifth generation of hunters coming in. I don't know how much difference there is between second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, you see other fourths walking around who also.
It just seems like they're people that just have to have been there longer, and they're just building up the population.
Totally. So we probably get.
Plus, you know, I imagine a few monsters have killed a few hunters now and then, so they've got to restock the hunters.
Yeah, like that, and I think like the hunters are coming in to make what they can. And like this is a new world, a world of opportunity. We want to try and make it big in this world, in this new world. So there's that. Talking about kind of like the game being basic. I think basic's the wrong word.
Simple.
I think simple's the wrong word as well. I think that if you want to go in to this game.
Okay, hold on. I got you.
Okay.
Easy to pick up, difficult to master.
Yeah. So it's accessible, but
if you want to get good, you can get very good.
Yeah. Now, like having put a shitload of time in on this game since launch, I have put over 200
days. I think is what I remember seeing.
It's 13, I think. But it works out about 250 hours since launch, which was 2018. And I picked up, like I mentioned last week, I picked up in the very beginning, the very day one I was playing it. I was playing the beta as well, but then I stepped away for similar reasons to you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was when it very first came out on day one, there were issues. There's been many a patch since, and it wasn't that the game was broken or rough. It was just that there is a barrier to entry, which you have seen yourself, and in little things like, because I had no one to reference this with, and because it was new to me, I ended up getting frustrated because I think I probably failed a mission and just felt like I had no power after like 50 minutes, and I was just like, oh man. And I think I was just so frustrated with it, I put it down, and other things came up. And it wasn't until constantly getting little nods and seeing little things about it that I got back into it later on in 2018. So there was about a 6-month period. Like I was in on the ground floor, but then I wasn't, and then I came back to it. And at that point, having come back to it, I was already seeing super high level
improvements,
and I was seeing what this game could really do. Because sometimes you need a 999er to come along and show you what this game's all about. Even watching a YouTube clip, I saw one of the comments yesterday which said, once me and my friends were playing, and a HR hunter rank 999 came in. He was a master rank 999 too, and he came in and he had dual blades, and he was just dodging and just bullying this creature while him and his friends were just getting thrown all over the place. And he said when it finished, he didn't even carve the monster. He looked at them, said thank you, and left. He's like, I was inspired and amazed. It's like this legendary guy just showed up, and like
it appears out of nowhere.
I'll tell you one thing I would recommend as well, and I've been avoiding spoilers on this game. I rarely care about spoilers on a game like this, but every single time I beat a monster and I see a new bit of armor that I haven't seen before, or I see a new monster coming in, it is like I love that fresh feeling that this game keeps giving me all the way through. And there was something that I didn't think it was a spoiler until I saw it, and there was something that happened. It was like another area to access, that I got wind of yesterday watching something on YouTube. I stopped the video immediately and stepped back because as soon as I got wind of this other area, I was like, oh my God, like, is this game going to even expand even more and get even more amazing and incredible? These new Guild Palace weapons that Iceborne DLC has added, they aren't very good stats wise, but man, they look so good. I don't even care. And when I'm coming into your world to help you, I'm so much more of a higher level anyway. I can come in with barely anything and still kick ass. So I'm using all my Guild Palace weapons there. So this game just continues to give and give and give, and I feel like, I mean, I don't feel like I've progressed much. I've progressed further with regards to new monsters because I'm in the midst of the DLC Iceborne campaign, and I feel like I might even have more in front of me now than I felt like I had when I spoke to you last week. Like the game keeps giving me stuff, and I love it, and I'm in no rush. Like no rush. I'm just
No,
basking in it.
like the amount of times we've fought the same monsters over and over again because it feels different. Like
Yeah.
the multitude of weapons, strategies, environments, even the monsters themselves are different in sizes.
I'm sharing a screen as we speak as well, just what I remember.
There's
So we've got some
loads of different ways that this game throws challenge at you. And I'm quite early on in, and like you, I still feel there's a buttloads to come, but I'm happy with what I already have. I keep replaying the same monsters and not advancing the story, just joining random people and fighting because it's just really good fun.
And like you mentioned, like it doesn't feel the same, and that can be in part to a number of things. I mean, so far the discrepancy in size between the monsters we fought hasn't been that big, but we will go in at some point and you will see a dog-sized Odegron, and it's hilarious. Like you will see it at some point. You're going to see this. Well, I say dog-sized. Let's say Great Dane or maybe lion-sized, which is still in the scheme of.
Shit, you Odegron, I can just kick out the road.
Yeah, but I'm sure I've seen one that size. Like you will get tiny ones, but then you'll also on the same token, you will get massive versions. So I've gone in and seen like a Kula Yaku.
Is that an Anjanath?
That is an Anjanath chasing a Palico, yeah.
Down by the wings on the back, which is weird because it doesn't fucking fly.
No, but I think it's used like to
intimidation, like that weird dinosaur that is the fucking like.
Well, yeah. The thing is, the Anjanath also has this weird, like, bone-looking thing in its face, and when it gets angry, that flares up, and that I think the whole thing in its face and thing is intended to make it even more terrifying than it already is. And this is the great thing about this game, right? Like, we spoke about Pokemon in previous weeks, and I am loving this game for the same reason. I am like, well, for a lot of the similar reasons.
You like to use animals?
No, in that I like to capture them though. And I like
like 2 monsters.
And how much fun
You're not very good at the capture part.
Well, this is it. We've got to get better at the capture part because sometimes it's just like I think he's ready to go. Maybe we should catch him, and then we hit him one more time, and it's like, no, he's dead. He was gone. He was too far gone. Like we are absolutely like beating these monsters into oblivion. And I think
within an inch of their life, and then a lot more, and they die. We either set the traps too early and they've run off again, or we kill them.
And this is another thing which I find interesting about this game, right? I don't know how long a game like this is going to exist in this world, in this form, because it's called Monster Hunter World, right? But I don't feel like they're monsters. I feel like they're dinosaurs. Like, you know? Oh, actually, some of them are dragons, and some of them are monsters. But like, the Anjanath feels like a T-Rex to me.
Would you not look at a dinosaur and think that's a fucking monster?
Yes, I would. But here's the difference. If I see somebody beating the shit out of a dinosaur, I feel like that's cruel. But if I see somebody beating the shit out of a monster, then I don't feel like it's so cruel. And I think this game has picked up some...
Black?
Yeah. Not a lot, but I think it was... I don't know the place. I don't even want to quote them just in case. I will. I think it's PC Gamer who did a review which was talking about, which like really focused on the cruelty. And I've not read it word for word. But they were talking a lot about that, and like I just think that like
that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, because ultimately, right, this is a game where you fight effectively. Some of these creatures are magical. These are like magical.
Well, that does, right? Putting PC Gamer comparing like these monsters to like cruelty to animals is that same stupid link between violent games and violence. There ain't no fucking link. And PC Gamer are making a problem by doing that because it's a fucking T-Rex.
Yeah, and like T-Rexes are extinct as well. So even if it
Even
was
if they were
actually
extinct, I'm all for killing a T-Rex if he's trying to eat you.
yeah,
I'm
true
all,
that.
I'm all for punching a dog if he's bit me on the leg, if he's biting me on the leg.
Well, this is it. I think the thing that really got me thinking on this thing was like I mentioned earlier on before we started recording. There was a match or fight. I felt like this was like a boxing match with a giant cougar, right? A cougar squirrel. Like it felt like a boxing match because it was
And
just
the Yoda Gron?
No, this is called it's like a variant of the Tobidachi, which was that squirrel kind of cat thing that would like.
Oh, the puffy fucker.
No, not the puppy one. The one with kind of wings that like it looks like a bit like a squirrel, like the flying squirrels, you know. Um, I think we made quick work of it. It wasn't one we fought very quick, weren't very long, but it's a variant of that, or at least that is a variant of this, I believe. And I was fighting this last night, and it was a pretty big one. But by the end of the fight, this fight gone about. It was a whatever the time limit was. I think it was a 35-minute time limit. It may have been a 50-minute time limit.
Isn't that the poison one you were struggling with?
No. This is a different one. Okay. That is the Val Hazak. That is the but that is like a variant Val Hazak that I was struggling with. That's the spores. But this one is basically like an ice creature. It's got ice powers and tornado powers. My character, I say tornado powers. It fires like a kind of ice blast thing. And I had this fight with this hunt with it, right, in the arena. There's nowhere for it to run away. And the whole time, it's just, we're kind of circling, we're just fighting, we're clashing. But I'm using, he will attack several times, and then he will break and get out of breath. But the longer you let him attack, he gets more and more out of breath to the point where he cannot. When he's enraged, his eyes are blue. I was noticing all these details because I'm fighting at one-on-one and I'm face to face and I'm seeing these details, right? His eyes are blue when he is at his strongest, and when he calms down, his eyes go red. As the fight progressed, his eyes didn't go blue anymore. When he was at his angriest, they were red. But then when he was knackered, his eyes looked basically shut. By this point, his teeth were broken, his claws were broken. He had these spikes on his elbows; they were all broken. He had all these.
Genuinely look and sometimes feel a little bit cruel when you've got this monster that's like fucking limping away with like drool, maybe poison purple drool.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's had a stroke because his entire body caving in, and you do feel a little bit like I feel bad, but this is also really fun. So here, I have my hammer.
Well, this is it. Because there was a point, it was in the arena, and he is like beaten, man. And I even remember sitting there, he's gone to hit me with his ice blast, like rah, and all that's come out is like a puff of like, oh. and I just reloaded, sharpened my sword, and I thought,
sharpening your sword, or this big monster's trying to kill you with ice, and you just make you a little bit chilly.
In its face, literally in his face, just sharpening my sword, like
the injured poor thing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. At that moment, I was like, "This."
She was like one of the poses.
I felt like Gladiator. I should have. I really should have. That would be great. Yeah. I felt like Gladiator. You know, when he's just like, you know, this man is beaten. You know, are you not entertained? That's what I felt like because I'm in this arena, and I thought,
you should put spectators around to watch it. Really just fill it up like test of strength with me.
Oh, mate. Well, like. I stood there and I thought, right, this thing's done. I chucked the trap down and it ran into the trap and I tried to trank it and then I remembered.
You've already got it.
I've already got it. So I was like, I've got to kill it.
That is so you just wasting traps in an arena where you've already trapped him.
But I didn't want to kill it. So I was like, oh, it's got to die then. And I finished it off. And it was just like, man, like as it's lying there dead, I was like, man, like, that was badass.
Was that a dog?
No, that was me laughing high pitchedly.
Oh. The longer I'm playing it, the less I'm getting this feeling, which I kind of get is a good thing and it shows I'm improving. But they do sometimes feel like actual epic battles when you fought this thing for 15, 20 minutes and it's gone you one of the features I love. There's no health bar like in traditional games.
Yeah, that's what's good. Yeah,
The health bar is its visibility. Like you can see, like maybe its claws are damaged or its horns come off. Sometimes with the right weapon, you'll chop its tail off. It's drooling, it's limping. And when you've done that and he's run away and you've chased him 3, 4, I think 5 times yesterday, one of them
one of them.
fuckers ran away from us,
Yeah,
and you get it and you kill them or you capture them and it properly feels like you've been in a battle.
Yeah.
And very few games give you that.
big time, man. It's one of the strongest features of this game. And like, yeah, I completely forgot to mention exactly what you pointed out there. There's no health bars. We have health bars for ourselves, but we cannot tell exactly how close to beating them they are. And I'm still
Hence
thinking
why
that,
you either kill it or fail to capture it, because it's all about. I suppose that'll come with playtime, because you'll get to know what state is capturable.
totally, because this is it. Like you familiarize yourself with each type of monster, and like for example, I'm looking into using the sword and shield at the moment, right? But from what I can tell, because the sword and shield does very low damage, the best way to use the sword and shield is to exploit the weakness of the monster you're going after. So if I'm going after something that's weak to ice, then I should really use an ice sword. And I'm starting to now get as you get further in and as you unlock more armor and buy more armor and build more armor, you could then start to have more loadouts. It's like, right, I'm going to go and hunt a Tobi Kadachi, and this is my Tobi Kadachi loadout because I've got X for taking down Y, and I've got B for taking down A. And I absolutely love that, because when you go into a fight prepared, like prime example, even though it's not a prime example, but it's a good example of what I'm talking about. We had an arena match last night where we took on 2 Barrows and a Diablos. Diablos killed the 2 Barrows pretty much, so we were just left with his Diablos. And the way we finished off that Diablos is just absolutely beautiful. We lowered it into the center of the arena. We hit a trap down. We got the Dragonator, which is these absolutely giant, huge spikes that come out of the side of the wall, and just completely destroyed it. And then we dropped rocks on its head. And I love that positioning. And
he was already dead when we dropped the rocks. That was just an overkill for fun.
But it landed in the exact right spot, so it just looked so good. And I love exploiting these things. I learned also, like, I'm still learning things 250 plus hours into the game, right? And some of this is just like oversight by myself, but it's also based on the types of weapons I've been using. So with the blades, you can target the legs, and a lot of creatures.
Dual blades.
The dual blades, the sword and shield. You can take.
Bladed weapons. I see.
Yeah. Well, I guess so, because I mean, I don't remember. I must have done it with the katana, but just not realized I was doing it. But you can take the legs out. You can actually take the legs out, so you can chop away the legs, and it's called it's trip damage. So presumably within the monster, because I always hear the phrase mounting damage. So if I attack it from above with a certain attack, this attack does mounting damage. There are other attacks that do not do mounting damage, right? So I can only presume based on that each thing we can do has a particular like hit point, like, you know, so like or a certain amount of
hammer is a knockout weapon. You're not going to cut off a tail with a hammer.
Exactly. And once you've done X amount of damage on this monster with this weapon, then that should trigger a knockout. And I'm guessing that once you do X amount of damage with mounting damage, then it will trigger an actual mount. That's what I'm guessing in how it works. So there's also trip damage as well. So when you start hitting the legs,
by rapiers. I'm looking forward to that later.
Oh my god, yeah, I've not even seen the rapiers in action.
Yeah, I need to jump on after this.
Yeah,
Something I don't think I noticed at the time, but looking back, since I was using the hammer, the monsters have been knocked down onto their sides more frequently than when I was using whatever the hell I was using before the hammer, because it's a knockdown weapon. It knocks out and knocks down big monsters.
What were you using before the hammer?
I don't remember. I think I used the bow and arrow.
That was the bow and arrow, yeah.
And that's just long ranged. I mean, I probably wasn't using it to its best effect, but minimal damage.
The good thing about the bow, I mean, you will come back to finish your point. Sorry.
Just the weapons have unique sets of not even damage, because in some games you'll get weapons that just do different types of damage. You know, like a sword does less damage but is quicker, whereas a hammer does more damage but is a slower to build up the attack. Whereas in this game, I feel like it goes even further. And like you say, you've got mount damage and trip damage and knockout damage and status damage, which is poison, paralysis, and sleep. Which, you know, I think paralysis and sleep are very similar things, but I feel like a lot more things we will be learning about these kind of weapons and what they can do.
And also making use of our palicos. And the palicos are the little cat friends that you can see in this picture here being chased.
That doesn't look anything like a palico.
That is a palico.
Well, the palicos in the game have these big fat heads.
No, well, the palicos, no. You're probably looking at a palico helmet. Because they are cats. They're just cats.
Palico's face.
Well, palicos are just cats.
Yeah. Big, fat, exaggerated.
No. You're thinking of the chef
sized cats.
You're thinking of the chef palico. Let's get some palicos up here so we can show one
No, what? No.
Don't
type in P. Do not type in P.
Get some palicos in action. So palicos are the cats. Yeah. There's a palico. That's a palico. Or there's some palicos. And I believe that's probably the palico that is represented in the picture we just saw. They come in all shapes and sizes. You got the chef palicos.
You got a fucking Jawa down there, a reverse Jawa.
And like these little cat creatures, like again, these draw on some of the Pokemon aspects because these little palicos are full-blown Pokemon because they will follow you around. They help you out. I don't know if you've seen this picture I'm showing here. I don't know if you've seen the different equipment you can give them because this bigger wasp spray is clutch.
I think that's what I've got because every time I come back from a battle, it's like your Vigor Wasp spray experience has increased.
Yeah, Vigor Wasp spray is real good stuff.
The one that should give you health, isn't it?
Basically health, it's portable health. And again, this is one of my favorite features of Monster Hunter, right? Every game mechanic has like a tangible kind of in-world rationale. So we instead of an arrow telling us where to go, we have these kind of like fireflies, effectively, these green fireflies, and we have a little lamp on our thing where they live in this thing, but we can control them or kind of
direct
them. We can kind of ask them. It's a symbiotic relationship. Everything's like symbiotic. So they you send them off and they go off and they find clues in that and they find tracks, and then the more tracks you find, the flies then get more of a clue where they are and you follow the flies. But they're an in-game life form. It's part of the ecosystem. And with these Vigor Wasp things, this little thing here is like a scent that the palicos know how to make, their little mix, and then they set it on fire and that attracts these wasps, and these wasps kind of fill up with this green vigor, which gives us health, which we can slice, and it kind of falls all over our character and our character gets filled up. And all this shit working together like that, for me, is one of the best things. And Capcom do this very well. In Dragon's Dogma, you cannot swim. So in Dragon's Dogma game, you cannot swim. And it's not because they didn't bother to build it into the game. It's because in this world, there is a creature that lives in the water, and it makes people sink to the bottom, and it takes them back to the shore. So that's why, because that's how it works in that world. So everything is like justified, and Dogma goes back a little bit. But that's the example I mean. I love it.
Going off on one of our, at this point, patented tangents. Speaking of things like the water, fun theory from Harry Potter. The first years take boats over. And I don't know what the math is, but somebody worked out there's probably going to be about 8 boats.
Yeah.
And these boats travel on their own. There's no rowing involved. They just travel. In that big lake, there is a giant squid. How many tentacles does a squid have?
I want to say 10.
It might be an octopus then. There's a giant squid. Anyway, the point being...
Well, I'm probably wrong.
He's got enough tentacles to lift the boats up and push them underwater. Just a little fun Harry Potter theory there for
Oh,
you.
right. Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Because they also have those cards that are pulled by invisible monsters you can't see until like the fourth or fifth book when Harry watches someone die and then you can see them. So it's another mode of transport which looks to be pulling itself, but there's actually a magical creature doing it for them.
Isn't what's the writer of Harry Potter called again? What's her name?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. Isn't she getting a lot of flack at the moment? She like not liked
Yeah.
kind of a. She made some. What? Let's talk about that for a second because I don't know anything about that.
Oh, just like the whole transgender debate and how, can women become men, can men become women? And she just, I don't know what she said specifically, but I think she was just against it. So now loads of people are like, boycott Harry Potter, and that's just not going to happen.
Wow. Well, yeah, because like that was I'd heard somebody talking on another podcast about how they would never read another Harry Potter book again, and I was like, so J.K. Rowling's getting a lot of hate.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to burn your books," and she was like, "Yeah, please go to Waterstones and buy my book and then burn it. It's
Yeah.
great for me. I get more money." And it's like, yeah, it's not going to work. There's too many. See, she will get money from anything Harry Potter related, but she's so far removed from it now that I'm not going to stop. I love Harry Potter. I'm not going to like. There's a new game coming out in the next couple of years, which looks absolutely fantastic, which I'm definitely buying.
Well, yeah. So like the franchise has taken on life of its own, and I think that is like a kind of an interesting thing in itself. And this is a definite tangent that we've gone on now. But I saw the opportunity for a tangent. And I want to take it because it's one thing I've noticed. Like, I mean, for example, like Superman and Batman, right? The
Yeah.
original creators of Superman and Batman are no longer creating Batman content. It's Batman and Superman have become so much of a franchise, so much of a big thing that you don't need to be the creator of Batman to write a very good Batman story.
No, I think they're also dead, but
Of course.
the point
I mean, I don't know
stands.
for sure. I know Bob Kane was
No.
involved in the development of Batman, but I'm
But yeah, the point being, just because someone's created it doesn't mean it cannot be evolved by other people.
yeah.
Hell, look at Star Wars. Not an example of good forward creation, but an example of creation nonetheless.
And an example of something where it is we have lived through the transitional period of the creator of Star Wars handing over the reins now.
A shit ton of money, but carry on.
Yeah, but still, like he is, he's like we've been in the era where the creator of Star Wars has made the Star Wars films and the prequels. Because he directed, I think he directed all of them, didn't he?
I believe he was heavily involved at the very least.
Well, I'm pretty sure he directed at least 2 of the 3 prequels. And
I'm pretty sure he was, but even if he wasn't, he was still heavily involved at the very least.
Massively, yeah. Whereas now he's kind of handed things over. So when we look at the
what a shit idea that was.
Well, but either way, but the point being that we are in this position of time where we have seen we're now on this side of Star Wars having new creators and new content developed. And it has been for years anyway with the books and the comics and the games. We've had other writers doing other Star Wars stories for a long time now.
Comics in particular, a medium where you can outsource easily because there are so many talented writers out there. Things like movies are hard. I believe that because in the Harry Potter series, you've got Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. They're both coming off J.K. Rowling books. To the best of my knowledge, this game will be the first major Harry Potter publication type thing that is, to the best of my knowledge, directly involve her.
Oh, it's interesting. See how it goes. It also reminds me there's an anime called Psycho Pass. This anime is spectacular because a lot of in short, it's similar to Minority Report. Within this world, you have something called a psychopath, which can be interpreted as your state of mind, your criminal. It's like I can't remember the exact way but like it's criminal minded. So if you have like, they never really explain it. It's very much like something Philip K. Dick would write, who is the writer behind Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which turned into Blade Runner, and many other books. I've read loads of Philip K. Dick, and he's fucking sick. Read Philip K. Dick, everyone. It's fucking amazing. So anyway, it's very. They even reference that book within Psychopath. So it's pretty obvious the writers of Psychopath are big fans of Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Similar to Minority Report, I know that's not Philip K. Dick. Actually, is Minority Report Philip K. Dick? I don't think it is. I'll have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's not. Maybe it is. I can't remember. But anyway, it's similar in that sense that like everyone has got their psychopath, right? They never really tell you explicitly what each one means. Like, oh, this person's got a red hue. And it's like, oh no, like better pick him up. They put him in prison basically because he's criminal minded. Like, he's never done anything wrong, but because of his reddish hue, psychopath, he's a criminal. He's a criminal because he's criminal minded. And this is it's very, very, very good because it asks a lot of questions about society, what right and wrong is. It's very philosophical. The main character is a character called, I think, Sunny Mori, and she is like this. Everything is kind of everything's told to you when you finish school. You're kind of told, you do a test, like, this is what you are now. You're going to be this. This is who you are. This is what occupation you're going to have. And she's basically going to be like a detective. Like, that's what her thing's going to be. So, but I can't remember if it's the case that she didn't want to be a detective or something else, but she's extremely good. But she says a line near the end of the season about, because she doesn't necessarily subscribe to this way of life. She doesn't necessarily think that this is right per se, but she gives a monologue on how I can't even word it, and I won't even try because I'll butcher it, but it's very deep and it completely shifted my perspective on things. And this does a lot of that all the way through this story. And there's one particular thing that this all reminded me of, where they have got this celebrity figure. And again, I can't remember the exact details, but the celebrity figure is doing something wrong. Whether they're killing somebody or there's some kind of crime, this celebrity figure is doing something wrong, or they're being impersonated. And it turns out that it's not the actual person who's doing it, but it's like an imposter. But this person is, it's like a character it's like an online character that wears a suit. So it's like you could easily disguise this person, and nobody really knows what the real person inside looks like. But it turns out at the end of this episode that because this character, this franchise has become so big, they're much bigger than the creator now. And it was so hard to distinguish that this wasn't the original person because the fans knew the character better than the creator. So this super psychotic fan who was going to use this identity to do other things was so in touch with this character, knew this franchise so well, better than the creator, that everybody was completely convinced that this is this person doing the thing. And I probably could have, like, I probably not been completely clear on the details there, but it's such a really interesting thing that when franchises get so big that the fans kind of know better than.
Well, it's that thing of, like, when things get so big, Star Wars, Harry Potter, I'm sure there are others, but there are so many theories out there that are just put together by fans, which makes so much sense that you could easily make the argument that there will be people out there that can create better stories within that world than the person that created the world themselves.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, if Batman still looked the way he did in issue 1 of the comic, that'd be a travesty. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the original looking Batman. He doesn't look like awful, but like you wouldn't want it to look like that.
It's not 2020 Batman.
No, you wouldn't want it to look like that. I mean, even with Superman and Batman wearing the pants over the trousers, for any potential American listeners, we underwear over the pants.
Hey, mate, no. That ain't the fucking American thing. It's taken me 2.5 goddamn years to get used to people calling trousers pants up north. Yes.
Oh, so everyone calls trousers pants where you are?
Yes. They also call a dressing gown a house coat.
Fuck. Do they call
wrong up here, mate.
Oh, also, is it?
Also, what's a chippy?
As a chip shop.
No, it's fucking not. In Liverpool, it's anything that does takeaway. Chinese, Indian, Mexican. You get a chippy, it could be fucking anything.
I love it. We should have a segment based on liver. What would it be? Liverpudliism?
Scouts. I don't know. Merseyside-lish.
Merseyside-lish. I'm interested to hear more of this stuff. Actually,
I'm sure there's more, but off the top of my head, Pants, Chippy are the big ones.
that's funny with pants.
Yeah.
Pants,
Oh, also, they have the word like into everything, which
yeah,
is annoying. Because now I do it. And hell, I even fucking found you doing it yesterday.
yeah. I was just about to say like is like.
It just falls into the vocabulary. I'll catch myself saying it, be like, no, I'm a fucking southerner. Don't want any of that Nolan lingo in my vocab.
There's something that a lot of people say. I don't think you say it that often, to be fair, but a lot of people say it, and I had to untrain myself years ago from saying obviously at every possible inter point. Like some people will say obviously so much, and one, it's not obvious, but two, it's infuriating, and it's like a lot of people will say it constantly, and I had to untrain myself from saying obviously. Yeah, so the
Yeah, like the word literally is
filler word.
often used over too
Oh,
much.
and it's used incorrect as well. A lot of people, when they say literally, they actually mean like not figuratively, but like practically. They mean practically. Oh, it's practically finished now. But they say, oh, it's literally finished now. So, oh, sweet, let's go get it. No, it's not finished just yet. It's like, oh, it's practically finished. Yeah. So that's something a lot of people say. But the thing is with like, I don't mind saying like, and I'm aware of it when I say it, and I've chosen to continue saying it, and I don't know why. I just don't have an issue. There's something because I'm based in Bristol, and there's something that Bristolians get accused of a lot, and I think I've heard other people say it, but I know that Bristolians probably say it more than anybody else. And they'll be speaking to somebody, I don't say it. Not because it bugs me. It doesn't bug me at all, but I just don't say it. A lot of people say, "Where are you to?" Like when they mean, "Where are you?" Like so, like, "Oh, where are you at the moment?" They say, "Where are you to?" And I will always respond, "Oh, it's just me by myself." Like, "Where are you? Where are you to?"
No,
Just
I
me.
don't know if this is a Liverpool thing because I've seen it recent. I don't know when it was, but it's what was it? Can I borrow you or something? They used the word borrow and lend the other way
Oh,
around.
yeah.
And I got really confused because I think someone was asking, and I'm like, what are you going on about? I was like, oh, can I borrow you a pen? I'm like, can you borrow me a what? And
Yeah, because like you could try and assume what they're saying,
you,
but
you
then
could infer it from the context, but it
but
also doesn't make any fucking sense
it makes no
in English.
it makes no sense, and also you're rewarding their laziness to say it correctly with the
I don't even
answer.
think it's laziness. I think it's just a dialect thing.
Well, one of them, one of the things that I've heard a bit too much for my liking, it disgusts me when people say, "Oh, I'll learn you that," or "learn him that," and it's like, are you completely out of your mind? The word's teach. Like the word
That's
teach.
just incorrect. That's just wrong.
That's
That's bad English.
blinding fury from that because there's a funny Simpsons moment where it's just like, oh, what an idiot! Like I'll learn him to do better or something like that. It's a funny Simpsons joke stroke meme. It's like if you're not familiar with that meme and you do it, then you are the meme, and it's just like it's really bad English. I think we have gone 45 minutes.
Yeah, I paused my timer at some point, so I restarted it, but I have no idea what we did.
We're
I'm
45
at
minutes.
36. Okay.
Um, and I think we've got everything. We've got Monster. The thing about Monster Hunter is, just like last week, there's so much I can say about Monster Hunter. I could always talk more about Monster
Yeah,
Hunter.
I'm
I
pretty sure
love it.
last week we were going to continue with the Mandalorian this week, but that hasn't happened.
So I think now we're in 2021. Happy New Year, everyone. Now we're in 2021. We're gonna have certain things. I think we're trying new things moving forward anyway. But I
Like
definitely
structure.
structure. Yeah, I want to talk about. So I mean, I want to talk. I want to come back. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to promise anything for next week. But I want to.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. I wouldn't do that.
That is a bad idea. I'm never promising
These
anything.
are our intentions in the next few weeks.
In the next few weeks, I want to come back to Mandalorian, and I wouldn't even mind some kind of breakdown on each episode because there's meat in everything there.
Yes, we've got Monster Hunter's going to be continuous because I'm going to be playing that for a few weeks at the very least.
Yeah, same.
Mandalorian, we still got to go over good and proper.
Yeah,
Then we've got some Star Wars related lightsaber content.
big time.
That,
Tier list.
that,
We want to do a tier
that
list.
gives us at least 3 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, One Division starts their weekly episodes, so that's going on the list. We've got content for and then every week there's a One Division episode, and then One Division finishes, it's Falcon and the Winter fucking Soldier. We're
Yeah.
never going to stop.
We're never gonna stop. And I also I want to have like a little quick because I think there's a little
I don't think anything we ever do will ever be considered quick.
100% won't be, but we can always try. When we first started, one of the ideas for a segment that I had was to convince me to do something, which kind of happened by accident last week with Monster Hunter, because that would have been my
We
pitch.
also had the Mandalorian. That was a bit more off-screen, but that also definitely happened.
Yeah,
Shout
so
out to whoever the hell convinced you.
Yeah, so you got me to watch Mandalorian, and I fucking loved it. Best Star Wars since Disney buyout. Like, for the last episode of season 2 alone, it is worth every second. But everything past the last episode of season 1 was fucking amazing. Then I talked to you about Monster Hunter. You played Monster Hunter. We're having a great time. And what I want to speak about next is something which is just starting. I've just started watching it again, so on season 4. And it's not a convince you to watch it. It's not me trying to get you to watch it, but I just want to give a little shout out and talk about it. It's a show called Attack on Titan, because this show is.
That's only had 4 seasons.
It's only had 4 seasons, but
I feel like that thing's been around longer than I have.
What, Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
I feel like
that thing is old as hell.
No, Attack on Titan still feels new to me, but it's been around It's probably been around 10 years from season 1. But this is a great example.
Time for 4 seasons.
This is it. I mean, is that a long time for 4 seasons, or is that like the right amount of time for 4 seasons? Because
it depends how long a season is, but
well,
if a season's a year worth of content, or even half a year of content, that's a long gap in between seasons.
It is, but the content there, the story, season 1, loved it, right? But by the end of season 1, I'm kind of like, I don't know how much I care about this. I just want to see a lot of fighting. Season 2 came along, and I don't think I liked season 2, or season 2 was okay. Then season 3 came along, and I did not like season 3. I got it wrong. Season 1 was good. Season 2 was not so good. Season 3 brought it back, and season 4 is good so far. One of the things that brought it back for me was when we first started watching it, I was watching it subtitled. I was watching it at the same time they were being aired in Japan. So it was really, I was missing a trick, because the voice acting in the English dub is incredible. And that got me through the season I wasn't such a fan of, because although the season wasn't that great, the voice acting and the acting was so good that it made it good. It lifted it up. It was so fantastic. And then the season before the one I'm watching now, which was 3, I know why I forgot it, because they have I think they had season 3 part 1 and season 3 part 2, rather than just doing.
I can't do that. I was watching The Walking Dead until they had a winter break for like the second season. I was gone after that. Never came back.
That's what happens. Yeah. So there's not just 4 seasons. It's probably more like 6 or 7 seasons. But what some of the seasons are like in 2 parts.
You have.
Yeah. But that's something I want to speak about over the coming weeks. Attack on Titan, because I'm just starting to watch that again, and I want to talk about little things in that. It's in no way, shape, or form me trying to get anybody to watch it.
I will. I don't do anime.
I know, but we'll get into that another time. So basically, we had a bet last week. I remember the bet. Do you remember the bet? I've got it written down in front of me.
I've got a number written down. I can't remember the specifics.
Okay. So the bet was, I think I just had it up on screen then, actually. Yeah.
Escape from Tarkash, Among Us.
Battlefront. So I've got here.
Yes.
Well, I've got here 100 is my bet for Battlefront. And your bet was what, 400? Did you say?
Yep.
Okay.
The Elder Scroll.
I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now.
I'm enjoying this.
All right, I'll keep on then. So we want to go Battlefront 2.
30,000 people are watching Escape from Tark something.
Where are you looking?
Top left.
Yeah. Shroud. Oh, it's Shroud, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't even look at the name.
That'd be why.
That's not that one.
Oh yeah, Christ.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you definitely win that one. 18 viewers.
Jeez. That's more than I expected. So what one do I want? Is this the one? That looks like, yeah, that's definitely.
That's the one. 'Cause it's got the 3 power-ups on the bottom right. Yeah, but was it total or highest streamer?
It was highest streamer. It was highest
Well,
streamer.
I've lost.
We're gonna scroll down a little bit. So we've got 92, 22, 60, 9, 50.
Even in total, I don't think I'd come close.
I was just about to say that even in total. Show all channels. 92, 22,
11.
60, 50.
It's
20,
Benzen.
50.
I love that we're like giving all these people like an extra 4 views of people that might want to check them out.
Maybe, and I'm happy to do it. I'm share the love, man. I'm happy to do it.
I'm getting
No.
bored of playing Star at the moment.
But I'm not bored of playing it. Just Monster Hunter is just so much more fun. Like
Yeah,
I just love Monster Hunter. The last thing, well, no, I've got more
It's
stuff.
not good. I sunk 19 hours into it in like 2.5 days. And that's like almost an entire day in 3 days. And I'm still loving it. So
Hey, it's only getting better. The moment I realized you were really loving it, and I pissed myself, was when I think you just logged off last night. You were just about to log off, and you were talking about getting these rapiers, and you were like, "Oh, things are getting exciting," and I was like, "They fucking are getting exciting," and and then you said, "Oh, no, I think I'm starting to get into." So you like kind of braced yourself a little bit, like composed yourself a moment. I was like, "Oh, I'm starting to get into this now."
like these rapiers look fucking good, and I don't know. I mean, this game suggests it's good enough to make more sense, but I feel like the rapiers I've got are much longer than the weapon before it, meaning I shouldn't need to be as close to do the damage. I hope.
I believe so. I totally believe so.
Everything this game has done so far suggests that makes sense.
I'm completely with you. Everything about, like you said, everything about this game is based on these things. Like, this weapon is good because it has more reach. This weapon is good because it has more power. Everything is in the game as it is.
You probably know this. Did you know that when you attack a sleeping monster, the first attack does double damage?
I did indeed. Yeah, so that's why sometimes with that hammer, you want to try and get that golf swing.
Like, yeah, see, I learned all these yesterday, just as I stopped using the hammer. There was the golf, there's the golf swing, the big blasts, the big bang, and then the charge swing.
Well, you still got your pincushion weapon. You've still got it. So
ugliest looking. I just love the poison. I wish I could like coat my rapiers in poison.
I know. I feel like there's other things we're missing a trick. We've got poison clouds. We've got like poison like smoke bombs which we can drop.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get some.
Oh yeah. We've got all kinds of smoke bombs. We've got all kinds of gadgets. We can be like Batman out there just.
Yeah, I'm going to be on this game in about 8 minutes, give or take.
I probably will be too. I might have to build some Lego in a moment, but either way, I'm going to be on there within the hour. No question. But yeah, I think that's a good episode we've done so far today. You know, even if I do say so myself.
You know what? Now I'm looking at rain on screen. Me pronouncing it Palcio is the dumbest thing in the world.
I like Palcio, but yeah,
I don't. I think Calico sound, it rolls off the tongue. It's linguistically and writtenly correct. Even though I've just made up a word writtenly.
But yeah.
I think that's the third time I've used a made-up word or a word I've created myself.
Probably more times than 3. The bet we're going to go for next week is how many viewers will we have on this show? Now, I do appreciate we can influence that number, right? But we're working on the honor system, and at the end of the day, if we get more views because of that, then I mean, it's not really a good or bad thing if we influence.
I was going to say, yeah, if I sit there and refresh a page 300 times and we get 308 views, doesn't really count.
And I'll tell you what, if you do sit there and refresh the page and we get a load more views, then you've earned it. You've earned the win. So yeah, we're gonna bet how many views we have on this podcast next week. The second week we did well. I think
we did very well compared to the other one.
So well. I don't know why. But since then we've I feel we've done.
We haven't got out of the teams.
I think we still have done really well though, because this just shows that we have some loyal watchers. And it's not even just about loyal. Like, you don't have to be loyal to us. Nobody has to be loyal to us. Nobody owes us anything. But if you enjoy watching and listening to our tangents, then we appreciate that massively. And if that's 10 of you, if that's 5 of you, if that's 1 of you, then that's sick. So I very much appreciate it. So because we like doing this at the moment.
I like talking.
Yeah, same. Like this is why we start doing these podcasts, because these conversations are happening with or without this podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Also, seem to have a very similar Venn diagram of interests, which is
yeah,
beneficial.
definitely. And also interests that conflict, which I like to think.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? There's a big crossover of interests and clashes.
Yeah. On one last note, I remember I was real friendly with somebody in a job before, because we both liked Naruto. I mean, we always talk about Naruto, and I was like, oh man, yeah, he totally knows the score, man, because he loves Naruto. So he's like, oh, I've got another thing to tell you. It's called Vampire Diaries, and I had no idea what Vampire Diaries was. Right? He described it, and it sounded amazing. He's like, this guy's like Aizen from Bleach, and it sounded like an anime. And I was like, oh my god, this sounds so sick. I turned it on, and I'm looking at some like E4 style teen.
That's what I thought Vampire Diaries was. I was like, am I
yeah, same here. And I've got it on, and I was like, what the fuck have I been told to watch? And I turned it off instantly. I was like, this guy has no clue. And I realized that, like, in all of the things we were interested in, like, the only thing we had in common was, like, Naruto. So if you think of the two circles of interest, it was like they were just overlapping with Naruto, and everything else was just worlds apart. And I thought that was quite funny. The irony in that is, as the years went by, I followed into like so many other things he liked. Like, he was big into like gym and bodybuilding at the time, and he fucking loved Japanese roadsters and liked Initial D. Those are three things that are like a major part of my life. So
I didn't understand 66% of what you just said.
Initial D is something I'll come back to in the coming weeks, because that is
I know
whole.
the gym is. I got the gym.
Yeah, so gym. So he yeah, so we had more we had much more in common as the years progressed. But at that particular time of my life, we had next to nothing in common. But he was still a very nice guy, so I trusted him. But I never trusted him with another program recommendation. never will. Vampire Diaries, no, mate. That is an instant.
I think I've recommended one thing to you, and it works out quite well so far.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's another show. We've gone over than we want to, but it doesn't matter because we always do. But I think we still probably stayed quicker than a lot of the other episodes, so that's really good. But I will speak to you again soon. Thank you everybody for watching Default Tangent episode 6. We're going strong. We've made it into 2021 with this, and we're gonna keep going. Happy New Year, everyone, and happy hunting.